Hi. Today we're going to be reviewing EMMA CHAMBERLAIN'S coffee. This is the combination of two things I enjoy, EMMA CHAMBERLAIN and coffee. I would not claim that I'm an expert in either, but I thought I'm bored at home. What else am I going to do besides spend money on things I don't need? So why not spend $40 on EMMA CHAMBERLAIN'S coffee? I've been watching Emma for a while now, maybe like a couple years. I wouldn't say I'm like an OG fan, but I think, say what you want about Emma, I think that she's made a really big name for herself in the YouTube world, and I think she's influenced a lot of people to start channels, to edit the way she does, and she's really built like an empire out of just being herself, which is kind of wild, and I think a lot of people want to shit on that and take that away from her, but I mean, I gotta say, I think you have to admire her. Like, whatever your opinion is about her, she's very successful, and kudos to her for that. And like back in December 2019/January 2020, she made her own coffee line, and I've always been really intrigued by it. And honestly, seeing as like half her personality is liking coffee, I honestly thought it made sense and was a good business move, and wanted to try the coffee that she likes, you know? So yeah, here we are. And I also want to say, while I really enjoy coffee, I am no expert in it. As you can see, that is a common trend among the videos that I make. I'm not an expert in anything, but I was a barista for a little bit in college, and it was a really fun experience, and it taught me a lot more about coffee, and I think it also helps shape what I think is good coffee, which I think is important. You know, even though I'm not an expert, I know what I like and I know what I enjoy. So I thought, why not sort of put it to the test here and help review like this trendy coffee that a lot of people have talked about. I know I'm kind of late on the trend. I'm probably like 6 months late, but it's totally fine, whatever. No, not even 6 months late, like way longer than that, but it's fine. We're here and we're gonna try the coffee. So without further ado, let's get into it. And before I go any further, my name is Jess. If you've never seen me before, please subscribe if you want to. I'm gonna be doing a lot more random food videos. I'm cooking, baking, just testing foods that I've always wanted to try. So yeah, stick around. Okay, so before I get into the coffee, I want to talk a little bit about the packaging, sort of how it came. I ended up buying 40 packs of the original coffee tea bags, like the single serve bags. Which probably wasn't smart. I don't know why I didn't just buy a 10 pack. But you know, I'm committing to it. I bought 20 bags for $40. It came in like this big white package. And then I'll show you guys the packaging here. So basically they come in like these individual bags. Each one has like a tea bag. I'm just gonna rip one open so you guys can see that. It comes in sort of like these little bags here, and it smells really good. Like, I gotta say, it's definitely one of like the best smelling coffees that I've ever, you know, had the pleasure of smelling. But yeah, it looks basically just like a big tea bag. So yeah, and then it also came with like these stickers because I ordered around like Halloween, so that's like a fun little perk. But yeah, what I like about these is that they're like compostable, they're sustainable, and like, yeah, like the packaging's pretty nice, like pretty sturdy. I will say that it was really quite expensive. Like for 20 bags, I spent $40, but yeah, that's something we'll revisit maybe at the end when we kind of gather our final thoughts here. So the way I'm gonna go about this is I'm gonna try the cold brew, and then I'm gonna do the hot coffee version. So I essentially made Emma's cold brew recipe. She has like a whole video for this. I'll link this down below or like in the video somewhere. But basically I took a mason jar, or you can use any jar that you have really at home. I filled it up with 2.5 cups of water, or about like 20 ounces of water. And then I put 3 of those bags in there, and then I just let it sit overnight in the fridge. I'd say like the longer you let cold brew wait, like the stronger it is, the richer, the more rich it is. So yeah, definitely overnight, let it sit. But yeah, making cold brew is super easy. I would recommend doing it if you're an iced coffee drinker like myself. So yeah. All right, cool. Let's make the coffee. All right, I'm just gonna take a sip of it, like without milk. Ooh. Yeah, it's really good even without milk. All right, cheers. Okay, so full disclaimer, I actually did try this sort of cold brew recipe a couple days ago with my mom. I just kind of wanted to like see how I initially liked it, you know, how it kind of sat in my body and like how I felt afterwards. And yeah, why not get my mom's opinion too? But something I really like about this coffee is that it's pretty light. It doesn't really have like a really overpowering like smell or taste like any which way. It's not overly bitter, it's not overly pungent. You can really just sense that it's really smooth, light coffee. And one thing I will say too is it tastes really good alone too if you just are a straight up cold brew drinker. But something I think that Emma emphasizes and that I also agree with is that it tastes a lot better with milk. Something my mom and I agreed with was like, this is the kind of coffee if you are like a nut milk enthusiast and you love having that in your coffee, I think that this coffee would be great for you. Like I paired this with oat milk and it's literally amazing. And I know Emma uses nut pods, but I don't have any of those. But honestly, just some good old ice, cold brew, and milk makes a really, really good coffee here. Yeah, and I also am someone that has like I'm pretty sensitive to coffee. Even though I love it and I love the flavor of it, it doesn't do good things to me. I get really jittery, like I get like anxious. Sometimes I just go straight to being tired. Like I don't know if anyone has this problem, but sometimes I'll drink coffee and it just takes so much out of my body. I don't even get like the effects of the caffeine. I just literally get exhausted. Or like I'll literally just have diarrhea like 2 hours later. So yeah, it's hard to find a coffee that I feel like sits right with my body. But even having it a couple days ago, I had a cup of it in the afternoon and didn't feel like super bad or super hyped up. So I'd say that this is like a pretty good caffeine level if you are like me and have a caffeine sensitivity, as long as you just drink a cup of it and you don't go crazy. What's nice about it too is that it's not like instant coffee where you can kind of get like this sour aftertaste. Like you can tell that it's really quality coffee. And like the bag smells so good too. Like I think like the aroma and like the overall like profile of it, like the packaging, the bag itself, and the coffee is all like really pleasant. So yeah, I think that this is like a really good coffee product. And also like reading the coffee now, it says that it's like notes of chocolate, cherry, and nuts. I don't have that advanced of a palate, so I can't really tell kind of like what those flavors and how they sit in the coffee, but I will say that it's pleasantly nutty. I can definitely taste that. And yeah, I think it's definitely not an offensive coffee. Like this coffee would be pleasing to anybody that just generally enjoys coffee. So yeah, let's give it a shot with the hot coffee. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. I've let the coffee steep here for that amount of time because I just heard it suggested to sort of let it sit out for a little bit longer to just get the complexities of the coffee. So yeah, I've never tried the hot coffee before. I did try the cold brew, so this is gonna be my first reaction to the hot version. Yeah, that's pretty good too. I mean, you still get the same like smoothness, the lightness from the iced coffee, you know, you get that same sort of profile, but it's kind of pleasant to have it like a little bit warmer. I will say I don't like the hot coffee version as much as I do the cold brew version, but also it's because I agree with Emma here in that I am an iced coffee drinker rather than a hot coffee drinker. I just feel like iced coffee, like it's a little bit more enjoyable. I'm gonna also pour a little bit of oat milk in it too. Beautiful. Yep, hot coffee for the win too. Still has the same flavor. Yeah, and that same, like, you know, smoothness. I guess now we can go into sort of final thoughts and what I think about the coffee. Let's talk about the things I like about the coffee. First things first, I think it's an actual quality coffee. Like, even talking to my mom about this, she's really picky about coffee, and she was really skeptical when I told her it would be like this sort of instant, like, single serve coffee packages, and honestly, we were both really pleasantly surprised. Like, it tasted like, honestly, a coffee shop cup of coffee, but, you know, for half the price. The coffee itself is really rich and light at the same time. Like, I don't think it's an overpowering coffee. I do think, like, the general person that enjoys coffee will really like this coffee. For me, like, I am pretty sensitive to caffeine, and when I had tried it before, I definitely could feel the coffee, but it wasn't to the point where, you know, I was like shitting myself and like anxious and like jittery and like off the wall. And you know, that can also depend on a lot of things. Maybe I ate a big lunch a couple days ago and was able to take the caffeine more, but I mean, just coming from someone that is sensitive to caffeine, I do think it sat pretty well with me. And also something I like too is that there's not a strong aftertaste. I think sometimes with coffee, it could be really powerful and it just lingers in your mouth. But I feel like for this coffee, at least just drinking the cold brew, there isn't like that really bitter and weird taste in your mouth afterwards. Like it goes by really lightly. So yeah, in general, really quality cup of coffee. I also like the packaging a lot. I can tell that she spent a lot of time like designing it. Like I have the original packaging here, but I know that she sort of rebranded in the last few months, and it's kind of like these cute owl cartoons and stuff like that. And yeah, I like it's compostable if you're into that. Yes, it is individually packaged, but I can tell that they were trying to make it as environmentally friendly as possible with the compostable packaging. So yeah, I think those are all the things I like about it. So for the cons, or the things that I don't like, I mean, the number one thing, and this has definitely been discussed before in all the other review videos, is that it's really expensive. I went crazy and spent $40 on 20 bags, which I wouldn't recommend if you're like a first-time buyer of these. Like I think for me, I just wanted to buy the original packaging. I thought it'd be like the most aesthetic, but the only version they had left of that was buying 20 bags, so I had to spend $40 just to get the packaging. But it is $2 a bag. And you know, conceivably, like one bag is one cup of coffee, so you're kind of just spending $2 on a cup of coffee, which is pretty steep for some people. So I will say that is one thing to keep in mind. And I understand that, oh, if you like buy a latte or like buy a Starbucks cup of coffee, it could literally range from like $3 to like $6. So you are paying less for this. But again, for those places, like you're paying for like the service, the ambiance of the cafe, and you know, for home coffee, $2 for just the coffee itself and just the cup, it is pretty steep. I mean, again, to be fair, like in everything you buy, you are paying for the labor of it. And I think, you know, when you're buying Emma's coffee, like you're paying for like the roasters and all like the warehousing and all the retail and stuff like that. But yeah, I think at least me personally, I wouldn't buy this coffee regularly. I don't think it's at a price point that's sustainable for like the everyday coffee drinker that just wants like an instant cup of coffee at home. But yeah, for a treat, you know, if it's on sale, I definitely would, you know, get it every once in a while. I'm definitely gonna finish like this bag of coffee, like don't get me wrong. I'm pretty pleased with the purchase now that I've tried it and I like it. But again, I think that's definitely the biggest barrier to entry when it comes to this coffee. And you know, like if you're into like stronger coffees, this might not be for you. If you're looking for a more affordable coffee, this probably isn't for you either, but it's a nice treat. If you're bored and you just wanna drink something nice for yourself, then yeah, I would go for this. One thing I've been drinking a lot during quarantine is actually matcha. So, you know, maybe I'll make a video on that sometime too. But yeah, I think I haven't drank coffee in a really long time. Probably not since like quarantine started, except for like here or there. So I'm really pleased with this. I'm gonna keep just drinking this coffee. It's a nice like break from my like daily routine. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed just trying good coffee. Let me know if you end up buying Emma's coffee. It's definitely a nice treat. And I haven't tried like the other like the coffee grinds, but I will say like the single coffee bags, it's a pretty cool idea. Nice to buy once in a while, and yeah, why not? See you guys in the next one.